let me just speak to the state of our network at the end of Tropical Storm Erica's visit on our beautiful island, Dominica. Our underground fiber optic transmission network was severely compromised at various points of that network. So far, as I speak to you this evening, we have identified 8 breaks along the network, and we have successfully repaired these 8 breaks. I refer specifically to Point Round, where we had 1 break in our underground fiber optic transmission network. We had 3 breaks at Kolibistri, 1 break at Makushri, 1 at Layo, 1 at Roseau, and 1 at Marigot. Grand Bay to Delicis, including Petit Savan, we suffered multiple breaks in those locations. And again, we always speak to the resilience and robustness of our underground fiber network. And at the end of Erica's visit, and I see my good friend Richard Stanford from DG with a nice smile on his face, because we have always used the fact that our underground network secured in secure docks underground is a key element of the resilience and robustness of our network. But what we found at the end of Erica's visit is that the network was significantly compromised as a result of the flooding and the washing away of bridges and various river crossings across the island. What we have done so far, though, is we have successfully, as I said, identified 8 separate breaks across the network, and we have restored services to the various points that I've just identified. With respect to our mobile network, which is really supported by 51 mobile cell sites, at the end, again, of Erica's visit, 39 of the 51 cell sites were compromised and taken off air. That, in effect, accounted for 76% of our mobile network. So 76% of our mobile network was compromised, and as a result, 39 out of our 51 sites were taken off air. Today, as I speak to you, this evening, September 3rd, we have restored services to 46 out of the 51 cell sites. And so, again, let's just understand what we are saying here. 76% of the network was compromised as a result of Erica's passing on Dominica. As we speak to you this evening, 6-7 days after the storm, we have restored services, bringing back on your 46 out of the 51 sites, accounting to 90% restoration of our network. The sites that are off air, specifically, and again will be of no surprise to the nation, Petit Savan, which is as a result of no access and no facility, our entire installation at Petit Savan was washed away. We have Chekol Valley, again, completely washed away. The Douglas Charles Airport to be restored when the airport reopens and service is brought back to that facility. However, cell users are being supported through supporting aligning networks at that particular location. At Layu Park, we have no access to that particular installation, so services have not been restored. At Rosalie, that particular site should be restored by this weekend. We have 2 sites that have been unfortunately abandoned as I speak to you, and I refer specifically to Petit Savan and Chekol Valley. And again, the reason I would have elaborated on prior. Our installations at those locations were completely washed off. So the impact that I spoke to initially, 76% of the network being disrupted as a result of the storm, caused about 30% of our mobile network to be detached from our network, meaning 30% of our subscriber base either had no service in a particular location as a result of the cell sites that were disrupted. Mobile customers who are currently attached to the network as I speak to you now accounts for 98% of our subscriber base. So as a result of the impact, we had 50% who could not use our cell service. Today, we have 98% of our subscribers who can make a call and receive a call freely and access data services. And so again, it speaks to the level of restoration and the efficiency and the commitment and dedication of our Lime team. With respect to internet, broadband nodes, we had 90% of our broadband nodes or internet nodes impacted as a result of Tropical Storm Erica. We have 4% of these nodes still off air, and I refer specifically to Petit Savan, which again, for the short term, immediate term, we have abandoned that site, and again, I spoke to it in the initial summary. Salisbury is still being pursued and work in progress, and we expect we will get to it very shortly. We had initially, again at the end of Erica's visit, 55% of our internet subscribers being impacted. And as I speak to you now, that number has been narrowed to 2%. Only 2% of our internet subscriber base are currently being impacted. With respect to our fixed voice nodes, 82% of our fixed nodes were compromised and impacted as a result of Tropical Storm Erika. As I speak to you now, only 3% of our fixed nodes are being impacted as a result. And again, that number would be significantly influenced by Salisbury, Petit Savan, again, short-term abandonment there. 60% of our fixed voice customers were impacted as a result of Tropical Storm Erika. As I speak to you now, only 3% of our base is currently disrupted or impacted as a result. And so, just in terms of notation, the above is really from the core network restoration perspective. It does not include individual customers who are impacted by issues at their various service points. The fixed break repairs are only temporary in nature, and we will get to it in a more long-term, more permanent manner. The inaccessible of areas have not yet been resolved, and so we expect some long-term, not long-term necessarily, but longer-term disruptions in Jubic, Bagatelle, and Fort Seja. There is extensive damage to outside cable plant in areas more severely impacted by the storm, and I refer specifically to Colio, Kulibistri, Chekol, Petit Savan, Fort Seja, Bagatelle. These will require, I think, new construction of our sites in those locations. In terms of using our regional and international footprint to support the significant effort that would have been required to bring services back on air in Dominica, we were able to bring into the country almost immediately when everything was settled. So the day after the storm, we had 5 colleagues flying in from Antigua, 9 from Jamaica, 1 from St. Lucia, and 1 from Miami. So we airlifted through private helicopter and private charter these colleagues into Dominica to lend their support so we could actually bring the country back on air with respect to telecommunications. We also partnered with Digicel, and again, I think I want to pause just to make that point. I don't think, and take note now because I'm not sure you'll hear me make that point in any other forum, but we've had significant cooperation and collaboration with Digicel. I spent quite a bit of time on the telephone with Richard Stanton here in Dominica. We also had a lot of collaboration and cooperation at the senior level, executive level, all again joining together in the restorative effort of our beautiful country, Dominica. And so the day after the storm, we actually collaborated with Digicel and actually got a boat into Dominica with supplies and equipment. We jointly offered and donated water to the Red Cross, again to assist our people. And I must say, I think it has to be used as an example that at difficult times we have to put aside differences and really partner for one specific good. And in this case, I think, is returning our country to some level of normalcy and bringing some comfort to the people of Dominica. And so at this time, Lime and Digicel, we stood together and we were very proud to do it. I must speak to, again, just permit me, I know the focus is really about restoration of telecommunication services, but I find it extremely difficult to speak about Lime without spending some time on our community and people focus. Besides the work we have done, and you will admit it has been a very significant effort and we have achieved significant, I think, results with the level of work we have done so far. On a humanitarian perspective, we are also collaborating to lend our support to Dominica. And so we started an effort today across every business unit our company operates, and I refer specifically Jamaica, the Bahamas, and every single market where Lime operates. And our business started a text help initiative where subscribers in all these markets are being asked and influenced and motivated to lend their support to Dominica by texting the word help at a premium price of $1. And once that is done, the initial period is about 2 weeks, but we expect, again, we may assess and determine to continue a bit further. The funds that would have been derived as a result of that initiative will be donated to the Relief Fund, the Government of Dominica Relief Fund. And this is something we're doing. It started as an idea in Grenada, but it spilled over very quickly across the length and breadth of our network across the region, and every single business unit embraced it, and our colleagues were very happy to participate. So that's one we're doing. We have also received support from our sister business unit in St. Lucia, where we have our colleagues in St. Lucia offering supplies, water, dry goods, and we have donated some of that to the Red Cross. We're expecting a boat on island tomorrow, and once that is docked, we will clear items and actually, in a significant effort again, either through the Red Cross or directly, we'll lend some support to the people of Dominica. So this is something we're doing. Again, all in the spirit of recognizing, while our core business is telecommunications, there's a wider, broader focus, which is really centered about the development of our people and our communities and our country. So this is what we're doing. Again, on this Saturday, we'll also partner with Honorable Kelvadaru to do some food distribution in the Bells community, and we'll do that directly on Saturday. So let me just give some comfort to the people of Dominica that I know there would have been significant disruption and inconvenience caused as a result of the network disruption. But your telecommunication services, with respect to Lyme, they're still in very safe hands. This was a very unusual event in Dominica. The level of disruption we have suffered across this island, I'm told, has never been seen before. And so we have been tested. But what has been proven out of this test is we have the capacity to recover and rebuild, and we can do it quickly. And my sense is we'll do it better than we would have left it at the end or before Erica would have visited. And so let me just encourage our customers to stay on board, and we pledge our commitment to continue to deliver first world telecommunication services to Dominica and to assist in the development effort and partner with government to build the people of this country. Thank you very much.